Beloved, the presence you have sought in temples, in mountains, and in distant heavens is not afar. It lives within you. God is not a shadow in the sky, nor a power to be begged, but the very breath and life within your being. God dwells in you as your own consciousness. When you dare to believe this truth, you awaken to a power that reshapes your world. The same voice that once said, "Let there be light," speaks now through your imagination, through the silent visions you hold. Every thought clothed with feeling is a seed planted in eternity, destined to spring forth as reality. Do not wait for signs from outside. The sign is within you, the stirring of belief, the quiet assurance that what you have embraced inwardly must manifest. Your inner world is the workshop of God. When you feel lack, you create lack. When you feel abundance, you summon it into form. When you walk in faith, unseen doors open. Heaven is not a place you enter after death. It is the state of consciousness you dare to inhabit now. Guard your inner speech, for the whispers of your mind are the decrees of God. Speak to yourself as though the miracle has already been fulfilled, and the universe bends to echo your word. Above all, feel. For feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. To feel love is to draw love. To feel wealth is to magnetize abundance. To feel health is to awaken the body into wholeness. You are not a beggar before a throne. You are the throne itself. God lives in you, breathes through you, creates as you. The world you see is but the mirror of what you carry within. Therefore, rise today in the awareness of your divine inheritance. Claim it, feel it, live it. For the great secret is not that God exists, but that God exists in you. And when you feel His power in your heart, nothing shall be impossible to you. The divine is not a presence far removed from your life, dwelling in unreachable realms, waiting to be discovered in distant heavens or lofty temples. The divine dwells within you. It breathes through your every moment. It animates your every thought. It shines quietly in the background of your awareness. To believe that God is a power outside of you, far away and separate, is to live in illusion. To awaken to the truth that the infinite resides within your own consciousness is to discover the key to life, freedom, and power. Within you is the very essence of creation itself. The mind you call your own, the imagination that paints pictures unseen, is not merely a personal tool. It is the place where the divine expresses. Every image, every thought charged with belief is a spark of God at work. You are not merely a vessel praying to a distant force. You are the living expression of that force, called to recognize your own divinity. When you think, you are shaping reality. When you believe, you are commanding creation. When you feel deeply, you are uniting with God's power in its purest form. This truth transforms everything. If the divine lives in you, then you are never powerless, never abandoned, never at the mercy of chance or circumstance. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. The world you see is the mirror of what you carry within your consciousness. What you hold as real in the silence of your heart must eventually show itself in the light of day. If you believe yourself to be weak, life will echo weakness. If you believe yourself to be blessed, life must confirm your blessing. For the divine does not argue, it simply reflects. To know that God dwells within you is to walk with a quiet authority. It is to stop begging the heavens for favor and to begin expressing the power that has been entrusted to you from the beginning. When you close your eyes and dare to imagine a better life, a healed body, a reconciled relationship, or a fulfilled dream, you are not indulging in fantasy. You are stepping into the workshop of the divine. Creation itself bends to the visions you sustain and the feelings you dare to embody. The divine within is not a distant echo, but a living presence. It speaks in the still, small voice of assurance, the quiet conviction that rises when you dare to believe. It does not come with thunder or fire, but with the gentle certainty that you are more than flesh and bone. You are spirit, clothed in humanity, carrying eternity in your consciousness. To awaken to this truth is the highest calling of your existence. You are not separate from God. You are the place where God lives. The temple is not made of stone or gold, but of awareness, thought, and imagination. Every time you turn inward and acknowledge this presence, you feel the power that can heal, create, and transform. The divine dwells within you. Feel it, trust it, live from it, and the world will reveal itself as nothing less than the outpicturing of your own awakened divinity. Your imagination is not a mere play of the mind or idle daydreaming. It is the sacred power by which creation itself is expressed. Every image you hold, every thought you entertain, and every belief you accept as true is a seed sown into the fertile soil of your consciousness. What you dare to imagine with conviction is destined to take form in your outer world. This is the hidden mystery of life. Imagination is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the eternal and the temporal, between spirit and matter. When you understand this, you begin to treat your imagination with reverence. You no longer dismiss it as childish fantasy or idle thinking. Instead, you recognize it as the very voice of God speaking through you, the tool of creation placed in your hands. Every structure humanity has ever built, every invention, every work of art, every movement toward progress began first as an invisible picture in the imagination of someone who dared to believe in it. Before the bridge is built, it exists in thought. Before the song is heard, it resounds within the mind. Before a life is changed, the new state is first imagined and felt as true. What you imagine is not neutral, it has power. If you imagine fear, fear becomes your companion. If you imagine abundance, abundance draws near. If you imagine yourself as loved, love surrounds you. For imagination is not passive, it is causative. It sets into motion unseen currents that must eventually find expression in the visible world. This is why it is written that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Your inner pictures are not private, they are blueprints, silently shaping your destiny. The sacredness of imagination lies in the fact that it is not yours alone. It is God's creative power operating through you. When you close your eyes and see with the inner eye, you are entering the creative workshop of eternity. You are calling things that are not yet seen into being. And the moment you feel the reality of what you have imagined, you unite yourself with it in spirit. That union must eventually give birth in the world of form, for spirit cannot remain barren. This is why discipline of the imagination is essential. To let it wander aimlessly into fear, doubt, and limitation is to misuse divine power. But to guide it deliberately, to fill it with visions of beauty, joy, and fulfillment, is to align yourself with the highest purpose of your existence. The sacred gift has been entrusted to you, not that you may create sorrow, but that you may create life more abundant. So guard your inner pictures, choose them with care. Let your imagination become the sanctuary where you build the world you wish to live in. Know that every image sustained with faith is a prayer. Every belief is a command. Every thought clothed in feeling is an act of creation. Your imagination is sacred power. Honor it, use it, and through it reveal the divine that lives within you. Faith is not blind hope, nor is it a desperate wish cast into the unknown. Faith is the quiet certainty that what you accept within yourself must one day be revealed without. It is the bridge between the invisible world of thought and the visible world of form. To live by faith is to know that the unseen is more real than the seen, for the seen is but the shadow of what once existed in the silence of belief. Everything you experience outwardly was first accepted inwardly. The life you now call your own is the harvest of seeds once planted in the soil of your mind. Faith is the act of planting those seeds with confidence, knowing that though they are not yet visible, they must grow. You do not question whether a seed will sprout when you place it in the earth. In the same way, faith does not question whether your inward acceptance will manifest. It simply knows it must, for it is already accomplished in the realm of spirit. To doubt is to cut the bridge. To believe is to walk across it. Faith is not concerned with appearances, with reason, or with circumstance. It does not measure what is possible by what has been, nor does it shrink before obstacles. Faith sees the end as already accomplished and rests in that assurance. When you accept something inwardly as real, you have already claimed it in the only place where creation occurs. The outer world is but the echo, the delayed reflection of what has been secured within. This is why faith is power. It does not beg or plead, it assumes. It does not wait anxiously, it rests in certainty. To live in faith is to dwell in the feeling of the fulfilled desire long before the evidence appears. That feeling, held with persistence, is the bridge that carries your desire from the invisible to the visible. The world around you is compelled to rearrange itself to make room for the reality you have already accepted within. Faith is not merely belief in something greater. It is alignment with that greatness within you. It is saying yes to the divine presence that whispers in your heart, assuring you that all things are possible if only you will believe. Every miracle that has ever unfolded in history began as an act of faith. Someone dared to accept inwardly what the world declared impossible. To live without faith is to remain chained to appearances, forever at the mercy of what the eyes can see. But to live by faith is to transcend appearances, to know that what is seen is temporary and what is unseen is eternal. Faith is not waiting for proof, it is becoming the proof. So accept within yourself the vision you long for. Claim it, feel it, and rest in the certainty that it already belongs to you. For faith is the bridge to manifestation, and what you embrace in the silence of your soul must one day stand before you in the light of your life. The conversations you hold within yourself are the most powerful forces shaping your destiny. Long before words ever leave your lips, they exist as silent dialogues in the secret chambers of your mind. These inner conversations may appear private, hidden from the world, but they are not without consequence. They are the architects of your reality. The words you speak inwardly, repeated day after day, become the script that life itself performs upon the stage of your existence. Every inner dialogue carries with it the energy of creation. When you rehearse failure, defeat, or fear in your mind, you are writing the story of your life in those terms. When you dwell on lack, you invite lack into your experience. When you repeat to yourself that you are unworthy, unnoticed, or unloved, the world must mirror back those very convictions. For the outer world is nothing more than the reflection of the inner world. But when you discipline the voice within and turn it toward life, strength, and blessing, everything begins to shift. If you speak inwardly of abundance, opportunities open. If you affirm silently that you are loved and worthy, love will surround you. If you carry on an inner conversation of courage, health, and peace, your world will rise to confirm those qualities. The unseen talk you have with yourself becomes the law you live by. It is not what others say about you that defines your world. It is what you say about yourself when no one else is listening. Your inner speech is the constant prayer you are offering to the divine. Each word carries authority, for it is the word of God, spoken through you. Life does not answer the scattered wishes of your surface mind, but the steady rhythm of your inner declaration. This is why it is written that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word. Those words are not only the ones spoken aloud, but also those repeated silently in the heart. Your inner conversation is the command you send to creation itself. To change your world, you must first change the story you tell yourself. Speak not of defeat, but of faith. Speak not of scarcity, but of overflowing supply. Let your mind become a sanctuary of uplifting, powerful speech. For whatever you rehearse within will soon echo without. The miracle of inner speech is that it requires no audience, no ritual, no outward display. It is constant, and therefore it is the most potent tool of transformation available to you. You are speaking your world into existence every moment, whether you are aware of it or not. So take hold of the conversation within. Make it noble, make it faithful, make it alive with beauty and hope. For the words you whisper silently to yourself are not wasted thoughts. They are seeds planted in eternity, destined to blossom into the circumstances of your life. Guard them, guide them, and let them declare only the truth you wish to live. For your inner conversation shapes your reality, and by it you rise or fall. Feeling is the hidden key that unlocks the door between the unseen and the seen, the eternal and the temporal. It is not enough to think of your desire or to picture it vaguely in the imagination. Thought alone is but a shadow. It is when thought is clothed with feeling that it becomes alive. Feeling gives substance to the invisible image and seals it with the stamp of conviction. To feel the reality of your desires to enter into union with God's creative power, for God moves through feeling. Every desire is a call from within, a whisper of the divine urging you to awaken to a greater expression of life. But desire in itself does not manifest. It must be embraced with feeling, for feeling is the evidence of faith. When you feel yourself already in possession of that which you long for, you declare to the universe that it is done. The world cannot resist such conviction, for creation itself responds to the vibration of feeling. When you imagine something and feel indifferent, you remain a spectator. But when you imagine and allow yourself to feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude of its fulfillment, you become a participant in creation. You step into the state of the wish fulfilled, and in that state, you and your desire are one. The door is opened, and what was once unseen is compelled to take form in your life. This is why it is said that faith without works is dead. For the true work is not outer action but inner feeling. To feel the reality of your desire is to give it breath and life. It is to impress it upon the deepest levels of consciousness, where God's power resides. The outer world, though slow to change, must eventually conform to the inner feeling that has been accepted as real. Speaking is the language of the divine. Words may be empty, thoughts may be fleeting, but feeling is truth. It cannot be disguised or denied, for it radiates through every fiber of your being. If you feel fear, fear shapes your path. If you feel love, love surrounds you. If you feel abundance, abundance flows into your world. Life echoes what you feel, for feeling is the energy that animates all creation. This is why you must learn to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when appearances contradict it. To wait for the world to change before you feel the change is to remain bound. But to feel the change first is to release the power that compels the world to follow. You are not asked to struggle, to beg, or to wait endlessly. You are asked only to feel, to enter inwardly into the joy of already having what you desire. So close your eyes and step through the secret door. Feel yourself already the person you wish to be. Feel the love you long to receive. Feel the success, the health, the freedom. Let that feeling saturate you until it becomes more real than the world around you. For once you feel it, the door is opened, and nothing can keep your desire from becoming flesh. Feeling is the secret door, and through it you unite with the very power of God. You were never created to crawl before heaven in weakness, pleading for scraps of mercy. You were created to stand as the living vessel of God's own authority. The divine did not place its spirit within you so that you would beg for power, but so that you would awaken to it. To see yourself as a beggar before life is to deny the truth of who you are. To recognize yourself as the channel through which God expresses is to rise into the majesty of your true inheritance. Authority is not something you must earn from the outside. It is the birthright of every soul who carries the breath of the infinite. This authority is not arrogance, not domination over others, but the sacred realization that the same power that formed the stars dwells in you. It speaks through your thoughts, it feels through your heart, it creates through your imagination. You are not separate from that power. You are the chosen instrument of its expression. The world teaches you to look upward, to cry out to a distant heaven, as if your answers lie in some faraway throne. Yet the kingdom of God is not in the clouds, nor in the temples of stone, but within you. To awaken to your divine authority is to turn inward, to recognize that the Creator acts through your consciousness. When you decree a thing within and feel it as real, you are exercising divine authority. You are not asking permission. You are declaring truth, and creation must obey. This authority is subtle, yet unshakable. It is not measured by volume of words, but by depth of conviction. One silent assumption held with certainty outweighs 1,000 loud prayers of doubt. The beggar pleads, "Please give me what I lack." The awakened soul declares, "I already am that which I seek." The difference is everything. One denies the presence of God within, while the other embodies it. When you awaken to your divine authority, fear loses its grip. You no longer tremble before circumstances, for you know they are only reflections of states within. You stop blaming fate, fortune, or others, for you see clearly that the pen is in your hand. You are writing the story of your life with every thought you accept, every feeling you sustain, every word you speak within. This is not a burden, but a gift, the greatest gift, for it means you are never without power. To live in this awareness is to walk as one who knows the truth, that heaven is not a place you enter after death, but a reality you embody now. You are not waiting to be blessed. You are the blessing. You are not waiting for God to act. You are the act of God in motion. So rise from the posture of a beggar and take your place as a vessel of divine expression. Speak with the authority of one who knows that the power of creation is alive within. Dare to assume, to feel, to declare, and to live as though the fullness of God were already yours, for it is. The world will bow to that authority, for it is not yours alone. It is the eternal authority of the divine choosing to express through you. Beloved, the truth has been spoken. God is not distant nor hidden beyond the stars. The divine dwells in you, speaks through your imagination, breathes through your faith, shapes your world through your inner conversation, and opens every door through the power of feeling. You are not a beggar before heaven, but the vessel through which heaven reveals itself on earth. The life you desire is not far away. It is waiting within you, ready to be claimed. Dare to believe it. Dare to feel it. Dare to live it. For when you awaken to the presence of God within, nothing is impossible. Say thank you for receiving these words with an open heart. May you walk in the awareness of your divine power and live as the true expression of God within you. There comes a point in every life when desire stretches beyond the limits of reason. Reason whispers, "This is impossible. The facts are against you. Look at what is before your eyes." And yet within there stirs another voice, a quiet assurance that what you long for is already yours. To believe in that unseen reality, even when every sense denies it, is the secret of creation. Belief does not begin in logic. Belief begins in imagination. The senses can only testify to what has been, but imagination reveals what shall be. If you cling to reason, you will forever be bound by appearances. But if you dare to give more weight to the invisible than the visible, you step into the realm where miracles are born. How then do you believe when reason denies it? You do so by choosing to live inwardly in the state of the wish fulfilled. Close your eyes to appearances and feel the reality of your desire. Do not wait for proof. Let the feeling itself be the proof. When you inwardly accept it, it is already accomplished. Reason will argue, but there is no evidence. Nothing has changed. Yet belief is not waiting for evidence, it is creating it. Faith does not beg for permission from the senses. It commands the senses to rearrange themselves to fit the inner acceptance. Withdraw your attention from everything that contradicts your desire. To dwell on obstacles is to give them power. Instead, return again and again to the end you choose. Imagine yourself already there, healed, successful, loved, free, and let the tones of reality in that vision move through you until they feel more solid than the facts reason presents. And when doubts rise, as they surely will, persist. Each time you return to the inner vision, belief strengthens. Each time you stand firm against the tyranny of appearances, the unseen reality becomes more real. In time, what once seemed irrational, impossible, even absurd, will emerge into the world of fact, and reason itself will be forced to admit it. Imagination is the creative force that shapes all experience, yet reason insists that only what can be seen, touched, and measured is real. When you rely only on reason, you are confined to the evidence of the senses. You live bound to the past, for every fact reason points to is nothing more than yesterday's imagination crystallized. To transcend limitation, you must dare to trust imagination above reason. Imagination is not fantasy, it is reality in seed form, waiting to be accepted inwardly until it appears outwardly. The unseen reality of imagination carries a truth that is deeper than what the senses claim. For the senses can deceive, but imagination reveals what is to come. Consider for a moment how everything you now call real was once only an imagined possibility. The house you live in, the device you hold, the clothes you wear, each began in the mind of someone who refused to let reason dictate what was possible. Reason would have said, "This cannot be done, for it does not yet exist." But imagination insisted, "It is already real, I see it within me," and from that unseen vision, the outer world adjusted itself until the invisible became visible. If this is true in the world of invention, how much more so in the world of personal desire? When you are faced with circumstances that appear immovable, reason will parade the facts before you. It will point to lack, to sickness, to delay, to impossibility. Yet, in the quiet of your imagination, you can already see the end fulfilled. You can feel the health, the abundance, the success, the harmony as though it were yours this very moment. And though reason scoffs, imagination persists, whispering, "This is the truer reality." For the inner acceptance of a desire is the very cause that summons the outer rearrangement of events. The power of imagination lies not in its ability to daydream, but in its ability to convince. When you dwell in an imagined state long enough, it takes on the tones of reality. You no longer simply wish for it, you feel it to be true. At that moment, a shift occurs. What was once dismissed as fantasy becomes conviction, and conviction is creative. Conviction bends reason, bends facts, bends the very fabric of your outer world until it aligns with the inner vision. If you cling to reason alone, you will always be imprisoned by what is. But if you dare to give imagination precedence, you break the chains of circumstance. You allow yourself to move ahead of reason, ahead of fact, ahead of time. To trust imagination is to live by a higher law, the law that unseen reality precedes seen reality, that cause precedes effect, that inner vision shapes outer fact. Imagination is not secondary to reason, it is primary. To believe in it is to hold in your hands the key to transformation. For the unseen is always greater than what the senses proclaim. Faith is the ability to hold fast to an unseen reality when there is nothing in the outer world to support it. True belief does not depend on visible proof, for proof comes only after the belief has been sustained. The mind trained by reason demands evidence, but faith thrives in the absence of evidence. Faith says, "Though nothing before me testifies to it, I know it is so because I have accepted it within." That inner acceptance is the seed of every change that will one day unfold. Faith in the invisible is not blind ignorance, but the deepest form of vision. It is seeing beyond appearances into the substance of things hoped for. When you rest in faith, you are not asking the world for permission to believe. You are declaring that the unseen is already more real to you than the seen. The outer world may insist upon lack, sickness, or delay, but within, faith declares completion, wholeness, and fulfillment. The power lies not in waiting for appearances to shift, but in holding unwaveringly to the conviction that they must, for the inner state has already been assumed. To cultivate such faith, you must learn to silence the need for outer confirmation. The senses are tireless reporters of facts, but facts change, and faith is the very force that changes them. When you close your eyes and feel the reality of your desire, you are doing more than indulging in fantasy. You are planting the very cause of its manifestation. Every outer result is born of such unseen conviction. What you hold inwardly with persistence and assurance must eventually project itself outward, for the inner and outer are but reflections of each other. Faith in the invisible often feels like walking against the tide of common sense. Others may laugh at you, reason may mock you, circumstances may oppose you. Yet the one who persists in inner conviction is the one who transforms their world. It is not the majority who create new realities, but the few who are willing to trust the invisible long enough for it to solidify into form. This is why faith requires endurance. It is easy to believe when appearances agree. It is mastery to believe when they deny. Every great shift in life begins with this unseen trust. The artist envisions the masterpiece before the canvas bears a single stroke. The inventor holds the finished machine in mind before a part has been built. The healer feels the wholeness before the body shows a sign of change. Each knows that belief is not a reaction to proof, but the creator of proof. Proof is the echo of faith, the shadow of inner conviction cast upon the stage of the world. To live in the end is to occupy the state of your fulfilled desire before a single shred of evidence appears. It is to clothe yourself inwardly in the reality you long for and to carry it with such naturalness that the outer world has no choice but to bow to it. When you live in the end, you cease to ask when or how your desire will come. You no longer stand as a beggar waiting for proof. You stand as the possessor, calm and assured because within you already hold the thing you seek. Logic will always attempt to ridicule this practice. It will say, how can you act as though you already have what you do not yet see? How can you assume wealth when your bank account says otherwise, or feel love when you appear alone? But logic knows nothing of creation. Logic only deals with what has been, while imagination ushers in what is to come. If you wait for logic to approve, you will never move beyond the limitations of appearances. To create, you must dare to look foolish, to reason, and yet remain steadfast in your inner assumption. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are not pretending or deceiving yourself. You are aligning yourself with the only true cause of manifestation, the state of consciousness you occupy. Consciousness is the root of all experience. The moment you inwardly accept a state as real, life begins to mold itself in harmony with it. You may not see the immediate shift, but beneath the surface, unseen currents begin to move. Events rearrange, and circumstances bend to reflect your assumption. This is why it is not enough to wish or hope. Wishing keeps the desire in the future, hoping postpones fulfillment. Living in the end brings it into the present. It makes it real here and now. By feeling it already accomplished, You withdraw the energy from not having and invest it in already being. That shift in consciousness is the bridge across which your desire travels into visibility. Think of an actor who fully takes on a role. While performing, he does not think of himself as pretending. He lives, breathes, and moves as the character. In the same way, when you live in the end, you inhabit the role of the person who already is what they desire to be. You think from that state, feel from that state, and act from that state until it becomes natural. And once it becomes natural within, it must find its echo without. The ridicule of logic is not a signal to abandon the practice, but a confirmation that you are moving beyond the prison of appearances. Every great transformation begins with someone willing to believe against reason, to persist in assumption despite contradiction. To live in the end is to walk by inner vision, not by outer fact. It is the choice to let imagination define reality and to rest in the certainty that what is assumed as true inwardly will harden into fact outwardly. The senses are powerful servants but poor masters. They constantly bombard you with images, sounds, and facts that appear immovable. They insist that what you see and hear is the ultimate truth. Yet, if you are to create a new reality, you must learn the art of silencing the senses, of withdrawing your attention from appearances that contradict your desire. For as long as you feed the senses with belief, you bind yourself to what already is, and what already is will persist. Silencing the senses does not mean ignoring life or pretending facts do not exist. It means refusing to let facts dictate your inner state. You may see lack, but you do not accept it as final. You may hear discouraging words, but you do not allow them to settle in consciousness. You may feel delay, but you do not surrender to impatience. To silence the senses is to deny them the authority to define what is possible. You withdraw your attention from appearances and place it instead on the unseen reality of your fulfilled desire. This withdrawal of attention is not easy, for the senses scream loudly. They demand recognition, and reason joins their chorus. Yet you hold within you the power to turn away inwardly, to detach from the evidence before you, and to fasten your gaze on the inner vision. The more you do so, the weaker the hold of appearances becomes. The facts that once seemed unshakable begin to loosen their grip, and your imagination grows stronger. Consider how a dream feels real while you are in it. The sights, sounds, and emotions of the dream seem undeniable, though they exist only within. In the same way, when you quiet the outer senses and give full attention to the inner world, that unseen reality takes precedence. You begin to feel the tones of reality in your imagination more vividly than the so-called facts outside. And it is this shift of attention that changes everything. And then, in the words of this exchange, the facts are all a mistake. When appearances contradict your desire, persistence in imagination is the remedy. Each time you are tempted to believe what the senses present, withdraw. Go within. See only the outcome you choose. Hear only the words that confirm your fulfillment. Feel only the joy of possession. This is not self-deception, it is self-creation. For the senses report only what has been impressed upon them in the past, while imagination reveals what is waiting to be impressed upon them in the future. As you practice silencing the senses, you discover an inner freedom. No longer are you enslaved by the evidence of the moment. You realize that appearances are shadows, fleeting and changing, while the unseen conviction within you is the substance. By refusing to yield to contradiction, You nourish the unseen until it becomes seen. Eventually, the senses, once your greatest doubters, become the very witnesses of your faith, for they will testify to the reality you once chose to believe, despite their denial. Whatever you accept within yourself, no matter how unreasonable it may appear, becomes the seed of your outer experience. Life is not governed by appearances, but by the silent agreements you make within. The world you see is nothing more than the echo of your inner consent. If you accept limitation, it must show itself. If you accept freedom, it will appear. The outer world does not choose for you, it only mirrors what you have already accepted as true in the secret chambers of imagination. This is why inner acceptance is far more powerful than outer effort. A person may strive, plan, and labor endlessly, but if inwardly they hold the conviction of failure, their outer actions will lead them back to the same result. Another may appear to do little, but inwardly they have accepted success as their state of being, and soon life bends itself to confirm that acceptance. The difference is not in effort, but in the root from which all action springs, the inner assumption. It may seem irrational to accept something that contradicts reason and fact, yet the so-called rational world is always one step behind. Every invention, every discovery, every transformation was once irrational. To the senses it appeared impossible, but someone dared to accept it inwardly. They lived in that acceptance long enough for the outer world to bow to it. What was once mocked as foolishness became celebrated as reality, and reason was forced to rewrite its rules. To accept inwardly does not mean to strain or to force. It means to calmly rest in the feeling that what you desire is already yours. It means to let the assumption sink so deeply into your being that it feels natural. This naturalness is the key, for when you no longer try to make it happen, but simply accept it as done, you release the struggle. And when struggle ceases, creation flows. Every time you revisit your inner acceptance, you are watering the seed. You may not see growth immediately, but beneath the surface, roots are spreading. Circumstances are shifting, people are being moved, opportunities are aligning. The outer world takes time to rearrange itself, but the moment of inner acceptance is the true moment of creation. All else is simply the unfolding of what has already been decreed within. When doubts rise, as they often will, remind yourself that appearances are not final. They are only delayed reflections of past assumptions. They cannot hold power over you unless you renew your agreement with them. Withdraw your consent from what you do not want and reaffirm your acceptance of what you do want. In time, the outer will have no choice but to reflect your inner choice. So dare to accept inwardly the reality your reason mocks. Dare to rest in the conviction that what you feel to be true within must show itself without. For the law of life is simple yet profound. What you accept inwardly becomes the fact of your world. Persistence is the secret ingredient that turns imagination into fact. To see the end within once is not enough, for the senses will return to confront you with contradiction. Doubt will rise, appearances will mock, reason will argue. Yet, if you persist, if you repeatedly return to the inner vision, faith strengthens and doubt loses its hold. What once seemed impossible begins to feel natural, and what feels natural must inevitably take form. The outer world is stubborn only to those who are unsteady within. If you shift your inner vision today, but surrender to appearances tomorrow, you plant and uproot the seed again and again. No seed can grow under such treatment. But if you remain faithful, returning each day to the inner state of the wish fulfilled, You allow the seed to deepen its roots. With time, the invisible begins to push through the soil of appearances, and what was once unseen breaks forth into visibility. Persistence is not frantic effort, it is quiet consistency. It is the gentle but firm decision to keep turning back to the end you desire, no matter how many times the senses tempt you away. You may falter, you may drift into fear or worry, but persistence does not demand perfection, it demands return. Each time you return to the inner vision, you reinforce it. Each return strengthens the feeling of reality within you until it becomes unshakable. Reason is powerful, but it is not final. It draws its conclusions from appearances, and appearances are shadows of yesterday's states of mind. When you persist in the inner vision, reason must eventually bend, for it can only measure what it sees. And when what it sees changes to match your inner conviction, reason itself will stand as proof of what you once believed without evidence. This is why persistence is a true test of faith. Anyone can imagine for a moment, anyone can feel for a day, but the one who persists despite contradiction is the one who brings about transformation. It is persistence that carries you across the bridge of time, from unseen conviction to seen reality. The vision you hold within may seem distant, but each return draws it nearer until the gap disappears and you find yourself living in what you once only imagined. Think of persistence as the rhythm of creation. Just as the ocean shapes the shore, not by a single wave, but by the ceaseless return of waves, so does the inner vision shape the outer world by its steady repetition. The more faithfully you return to it, the more unshakable it becomes until no fact, no argument, no delay can move you from it. At that point, faith has matured into certainty, and certainty is irresistible. So persist no matter what arises. Persist when reason denies. Persist when appearances mock. Persist when doubt whispers. For each return to your vision chisels away at resistance. And in the end, it is not appearances that win, but the one who persists beyond doubt until the unseen becomes the undeniable fact of life. In conclusion, the great secret is simple yet profound. What you hold within becomes the reality without. When reason denies, imagination affirms. When appearances contradict, faith sustains. To live in the end, to silence the senses, to accept inwardly what seems irrational, and to persist beyond doubt is to step into the creative power of your own consciousness. The world will eventually reflect what you dare to believe, not what reason allows you to believe. If you will faithfully choose the unseen over the seen, conviction over evidence, and persistence over contradiction, you will find that life bends to your vision, and the impossible becomes inevitable. Thank you for listening, and may you walk with courage in the unseen until what you have imagined becomes the undeniable fact of your world. My friends, the greatest truth hidden in plain sight is this: you always get what you want. Life has never denied you anything. It only reflects you, your assumptions, your secret beliefs, and your sustained inner vision. Want is not weakness. Desire is not sin. Desire is the map, the divine blueprint placed within you, urging you toward the life already prepared. The question is not if you will receive it, but whether you can hold the vision long enough to claim it. Look carefully at your world. Every event, Every condition, every relationship, each is the shadow cast by your inner state. You may say, "But I never wanted this disappointment, this lack, this pain." Yet, unknowingly, you gave it life by consenting to fear, by imagining failure, by clinging to doubt. The law never fails. Whatever you accept as true, you eventually meet in the outer world. So, how do you change it? Not by fighting circumstances, not by pleading with destiny, but by daring to shift your imagination. Assume the state of the one who already possesses what you desire. Feel the joy now and let it saturate your being. Persist in this invisible reality until it hardens into fact. You see, the world is not against you, it is for you, for it always echoes your inner decree. You may delay by wavering, but the moment you persist, reality bends. The unseen becomes seen, the invisible becomes flesh, the dream becomes waking life. Therefore, choose wisely what you want, not with anxiety, but with certainty. For what you truly and deeply assume, what you feel with conviction, you must inevitably express. You always get what you want, not because the world is generous, but because the world is obedient. It can only mirror the state you occupy. Step into the state of the fulfilled desire and watch as life rushes to confirm your choice. The secret is simple. Believe it is done, and it will be done. For you always get what you want. Desire is not a random stirring of the heart. It is not a fleeting thought that passes by without meaning. It is the voice of the infinite within you calling you toward the life that already belongs to you. Every genuine desire that rises in your soul is not a mistake. It is a message, a signal, a divine whisper that points you to creation. You were not made to yearn without fulfillment. To long for something is proof that it exists for you, and that within you lies the power to bring it into expression. Think of the seed placed in the earth. The desire of that seed is to become a tree, to break through the soil, to stretch toward the sky. That desire is not random, it is written in its nature. So it is with you. Every dream you hold, every vision that grips your mind and refuses to let go is the evidence of a deeper truth. You are being called to unfold what already is. The infinite has planted within you a seed of fulfillment, and desire is the stirring of that seed. When you desire, you are not asking for something foreign to you. You are remembering what is yours. That longing is not a plea, it is recognition. The desire itself is proof that the reality exists, waiting for you to align yourself with it. Too often we are taught to suppress desire, to treat it as if it were selfish or vain, yet nothing could be further from the truth. To deny desire is to deny the very movement of life within you. To feel a longing is to be shown the next step of your unfolding. Desire is not given to torment you, it is given to guide you. When you feel the pull toward love, toward success, toward freedom, you are hearing the infinite urging you to rise into a greater state of being. The form of your desire may vary: wealth, health, joy, companionship, but behind every form stands the same eternal source calling you forward. Your task is not to question whether you are worthy, nor to calculate how it might appear. Your task is to accept that the desire is holy and that within you lies all the power to embody it. Consider this. Nothing enters your awareness that is not already possible for you. If you can truly desire it, you already contain the capacity to live it. The dream that burns in your heart is not placed there by chance. It is the infinite reminding you of your own nature. Every longing is a bridge between who you believe you are now and who you truly are. Walk across that bridge in imagination, and the outer world must rearrange itself to reflect your inner certainty. Do not despise your desires. Treasure them. Listen to them. Honor them as sacred messages, for in them lies the path to your becoming. Desire is the infinite within you, saying, "This is the direction, this is who you are, this is the life awaiting you." When you embrace your desires, you are not chasing illusions. You are aligning with truth. What you want is not outside of you, it is already within, waiting for recognition. And the moment you accept that your desire is the voice of the infinite calling you to creation, the whole universe begins to move in agreement with your choice. What you truly assume and persist in imagining always externalizes in your world. Life is not ruled by chance, nor is it dictated by the random movements of others. Life mirrors back to you the convictions you hold most deeply, whether you are conscious of them or not. What you assume to be real within yourself is the seed, and the world is the soil. Given persistence, that seed must take root, grow, and appear as the visible circumstances of your life. Imagination is not a toy. It is not something that entertains you in idle moments. It is the creative force of your being. The pictures you hold in mind, the feelings you consistently return to, and the states you choose to dwell in, all these become the blueprint that reality is compelled to follow. What you imagine with persistence must one day harden into fact, for the world has no choice but to mirror your inner state. This truth is both liberating and sobering. It means that nothing outside of you has final power. No circumstance, no person, no condition stands above the authority of your inner assumption. Yet it also means you cannot escape responsibility. If you are dissatisfied with what you see, it is not because life has failed you. It is because you have unknowingly persisted in imagining something contrary to your true desire. Your outer life reveals the story you have been telling yourself in secret. To assume is more than to wish. A wish is weak, fleeting, unstable. An assumption is acceptance. It is the inner decision that something is already so. When you assume a state and dwell in it, you begin to live from that place in imagination, and soon the outer world bends to match it. This bending does not always happen instantly, but persistence guarantees it. The law does not fail. Just as a seed once planted and nurtured must break through the soil, so your persistent assumption must break into visibility. Perhaps you have experienced this without realizing it. Have you not feared something so deeply that it eventually happened? Have you not believed in the failure of a relationship, the loss of an opportunity, the continuation of struggle, and found that life gave you evidence of your belief? In the same way, when you courageously assume success, health, abundance, or love, and persist in that assumption despite appearances, you will find life reorganizing itself to prove you right. Persistence is the secret. A momentary vision is not enough, for the world reflects what you habitually consent to as true. You must return again and again in imagination to the state of fulfillment until it becomes natural, until it feels like home. Then, without strain, you live in the end. The invisible becomes more real to you than the visible, and in time, the visible will conform. Understand this: your imagination is not a fantasy, it is the womb of creation. To assume with feeling is to conceive, to persist is to gestate, and to externalize is to give birth. All that you see now is the offspring of past assumptions, and all that you will see tomorrow depends on what you dare to assume today. Your outer reality is nothing but the reflection of your inner convictions. The world you move through each day is not separate from you, nor is it imposed upon you by chance. It is the mirror of your deepest beliefs, your silent assumptions, and the feelings you consistently carry within. Life does not happen to you, it happens through you. Every condition, whether joyous or painful, is the echo of what you have inwardly accepted as true. Consider the mirror on the wall. It has no power to create, no power to judge. It simply reflects back the image presented before it. So it is with reality. The circumstances of your life are the mirror held up to your mind. What you are convinced of inwardly must take form outwardly. To change the reflection, you do not attack the mirror. You adjust yourself. The world is obedient, it is neutral, and it faithfully reflects your convictions without error. Many people struggle because they fight shadows. They try to change external conditions without ever addressing the inner state that gave birth to them. They work endlessly, manipulate, plead, or despair, yet the conditions persist, for they are attacking the effect rather than the cause. The true cause of everything you see lies within. Your convictions, the things you consent to, whether consciously or unconsciously, are the blueprint that shapes your world. This is why two people can walk through the same city, live under the same sky, and yet experience entirely different realities. One finds opportunities at every corner, while another meets only disappointment. The difference is not in the city, the difference is in their convictions. One carries within an inner knowing of abundance, worth, and possibility, and so life must mirror it. The other clings to beliefs of limitation, fear, and doubt, and the world cannot help but comply. Do not mistake outer appearances for truth. Appearances are only the shadow cast by inner conviction. They are temporary, shifting, and fragile, yet they are always faithful to their source. When you look at your life, you are looking at your past convictions crystallized into form. And when you dare to assume a new inner state, when you saturate yourself with new convictions, the outer must eventually dissolve and reshape to match them. You may protest and say, "But I never wanted this difficulty, this lack, this sorrow." Perhaps not in words, but in feeling and belief you gave it life. Convictions are not always spoken aloud. They are the quiet agreements of the heart. They are the things you accept when no one is watching, the states you return to again and again in imagination. The world cannot resist these hidden agreements, it must obey. The great news is that you are never trapped, for if your outer world reflects your inner convictions, then by altering those convictions, you alter your world. Begin to assume the feelings of freedom, love, success, and joy, even if your senses deny it. Persist in this new inner state until it becomes natural. As surely as the mirror must reflect the new image before it, reality must mirror your renewed conviction. Doubt delays, but persistence compels. The universe cannot resist a determined imagination. When you plant a seed in the soil, the earth is ready to bring forth its growth. Yet if you constantly dig it up, questioning whether it will sprout, you delay the harvest. So it is with your desires. The moment you imagine with conviction, the seed is planted. But when you doubt, when you waver, when you return to the old state of fear, disbelief, you disturb the process. Life is always ready to yield to your imagination, but it requires your persistence to complete its work. Doubt is subtle. It creeps in through appearances, through delays, through the opinions of others. It whispers that your desire is too great, that the path is too hard, that perhaps life has chosen something else for you. If you listen, you give doubt power, and what was already unfolding pauses in its tracks. The seed remains in the ground, but its growth is slowed by your indecision. Doubt does not destroy the promise, it only postpones its fulfillment. Yet persistence is stronger than doubt. When you persist in the state of the fulfilled desire, when you continually return to the end in imagination, something happens that no force in the universe can resist. The creative power within you cannot deny a sustained vision. Just as the ocean weighs down the hardest rock through relentless waves, so a determined imagination reshapes reality, regardless of obstacles. Persistence is not strain. It is not desperate effort. It is quiet conviction. It is the daily, moment by moment choice to return in thought and feeling to the state you wish to embody. Even if appearances scream the opposite, even if nothing in your world yet reflects it, persistence means you refuse to leave the inner state. You return to it again and again until it becomes natural, until it feels like home. The universe, which is but the outpicturing of your inner world, has no choice but to yield. It cannot resist consistency. It may appear slow at first, for the momentum of old belief still carries weight, but persistence always wins. A determined imagination cuts through appearances and establishes itself as fact. You need not know how. The how is not your work. Your only task is to persist in the assumption, and the creative law of life must externalize it. Think of those who have achieved what the world once called impossible. They did not succeed because they never doubted, but because they persisted. Doubt may have come knocking, but they refused to give it lodging. They returned to their vision with steadfast imagination until reality had no choice but to mirror it. So if you find yourself wavering, do not despair. Simply return to the vision. Each time you do, you strengthen the roots of your desire. Each time you persist, you shorten the distance between the invisible and the visible. Doubt may delay, but persistence compels. The universe bends to a determined imagination, and once you decide to hold firm, no force on earth can prevent its fulfillment. Every experience in life is evidence of what you have inwardly consented to be true. Nothing comes to you by accident. Nothing unfolds in your life without a cause. The world you live in is not separate from you. It is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the inner agreements you have made with yourself. Whether you realize it or not, every condition, every relationship, every event is born out of the truths you have silently accepted in imagination and feeling. Having said that, I accept inevity. I seek to know and believe everything that happens to us in life as well as in the imagination and feeling. To consent is to agree inwardly. It is not always a loud declaration. It is often subtle, quiet, almost unnoticed. When you continually say to yourself, "This is the way life is," or "This always happens to me," you are giving consent. When you dwell on fear, when you expect disappointment, when you imagine limitation and call it reality, you are giving consent. Life hears that agreement and says, "So be it." It does not argue with you. It does not resist. It simply reflects back the condition of your consent. This is why experiences seem so personal. Two people can walk through the same circumstance, and one will find success while another will meet failure. The difference is not in the situation, it is in the inner consent. One has agreed inwardly to abundance, while the other has silently agreed to struggle. The law is impartial, yet it is exact. It gives to each what they have inwardly claimed as true. Think back over your life. You will see a trail of evidence, moments, encounters, patterns, all pointing to the assumptions you carried within. Perhaps you once believed you were unworthy of love, and so relationships echoed that conviction. Perhaps you once believed money was scarce, and so life confirmed that scarcity. Or perhaps you dared to believe in success, in opportunity, in joy, and so your world opened to reveal those very things. Every experience, whether you called it good or bad, was the outpicturing of what you had already accepted. This is not meant to condemn, but to awaken. For if you created your past by inner consent, then you can also create your future the same way. You are never bound by yesterday's agreements. At any moment, you may withdraw consent from limitation and grant it instead to freedom, abundance, health, and love. The world cannot resist such a change. In time, it must rearrange itself to display your new acceptance. So ask yourself honestly, what am I consenting to right now? What thoughts am I entertaining? What feelings am I indulging? What inner conversations am I agreeing with? For these, whether subtle or strong, will shape tomorrow's experiences. Life does not punish and it does not reward, it only reveals. It reveals to you the hidden choices of your imagination. When you understand this, you stop blaming the world. You stop wrestling with shadows. You take back your authority and realize that your consent is the key. Choose carefully what you agree to within, for it will not remain within. It will step out, dress itself in the form of circumstance, and stand before you as undeniable fact. Every experience in life is evidence of what you have inwardly consented to be true. To change your life, you must not beg reality, but command it by changing your inner state. Life does not respond to pleading. It does not answer desperation or fear. It is not moved by tears or complaints. Reality bends only to authority, and that authority is found within you. When you assume a new state of being and dwell in it as if it were already true, you are not asking life to change, you are commanding it. You are issuing the decree that reality must follow. Many spend their days begging the world for relief. They pray as if the answer lies outside, as if some distant force must intervene and grant them what they lack. Yet all the while, they remain in the same state of lack, the same state of fear, the same state of waiting. And what does life do? It mirrors that state faithfully. For reality has no power of its own. It only reflects what you embody within. To beg is to confess powerlessness. To command is to acknowledge your divine authority. This command is not arrogance. It is not the ego shouting at life. It is quiet certainty. It is the deep inner knowing that your imagination is the creative force, and that by assuming a new state, you have already set in motion the change you desire. To command is to shift inwardly, to feel the reality of your fulfilled desire, and to live as though it were already so. When you do this, the outer world, which is only a shadow, must eventually conform. Changing your inner state is the true work. The state you occupy colors your perception, directs your thoughts, guides your actions, and magnetizes the events of your life. If you dwell in a state of fear, you will see reasons to fear. If you live in a state of abundance, you will find opportunities for increase. The outer world bends, not because you chase it, but because your inner state has shifted. The cause is always within, the effect always without. Consider a person who constantly complains of loneliness. They plead for companionship. They look outward in desperation, but within they live in the state of being unwanted. No matter how much they beg, reality echoes their state. Yet if that same person dares to assume the state of being loved, cherished, and desired, and if they persist in that state, the world must mirror it. Companionship will arrive not as a gift from chance, but as the natural outpicturing of a new inner command. To command reality, you must practice persistence. A single moment of assuming may not dissolve the old state at once, for your past convictions still hold momentum, but persistence wears them down. Each time you return to the feeling of your fulfilled desire, you strengthen the new state. And as surely as night follows day, the outer world will take shape around it. So stop begging, stop waiting, stop living as though you are powerless. Stand in your authority, declare inwardly what is true, not by words alone, but by feeling it real within yourself. Assume the state of the one you wish to be, and reality will obey. To change your life, you must not beg reality but command it by changing your inner state. So, my friends, remember this truth. Life is not against you, nor is it withholding anything from you. It is only showing you who you believe yourself to be. Every desire within you is a divine call. Every assumption you persist in must externalize. Every conviction paints the world you walk through. Doubt may delay, but persistence compels, and the universe cannot resist a determined imagination. You do not beg reality, you command it by daring to change your inner state. Choose today to live from the end, to consent only to what uplifts you, to persist in the vision of your fulfilled desire. For you always get what you want, not by chance, but by law. Life is your mirror. Reflect only what you choose to be true. Thank you for listening, and may you step boldly into the state of your fulfilled dream. Beloved friends, the very effort to acquire is the confession that you are without. When you strive, you declare to life, I do not yet possess. But what you do not realize is that creation is already finished. All that you desire exists now, waiting not to be achieved, but to be accepted. Trying, reaching, struggling, these belong to the realm of lack. The man who constantly seeks money is affirming poverty. The woman who chases love is affirming loneliness. The seeker who endlessly prays for healing is affirming sickness. Yet the moment one dares to rest in the assumption of already having, the world bends to mirror that truth. Stop trying to get. Instead, imagine yourself already in possession of your desire. Feel it real. Rest in the state of accomplishment. See yourself as you wish to be, and persist in that unseen reality until it hardens into fact. You will discover that your desire is not something far off in the distance. It is not waiting for tomorrow, nor locked in the future. It is here, now, in the invisible realm of imagination, awaiting only your acceptance. When you cease trying, when you give up the desperate pursuit, you will find that what you sought so earnestly is suddenly yours, not by struggle, but by surrender. On Suranarai, Ira Unhei, Unia Street, Devout, Konohim. So tonight, stop striving, stop chasing, enter into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live as though it is already yours. For the moment you stop trying to get it, you will discover you already have it. Desire is never something that lies outside of you, waiting to be captured by struggle or earned by endless pursuit. What you call a dream, a goal, or a longing does not begin in the world of facts. It begins in the invisible world of imagination. Everything you now touch, see, or call reality was once nothing more than an unseen image in the mind of someone who dared to accept it as true before it appeared. The house you live in, the clothes you wear, the technology you hold in your hands, all of it was once an idea that existed only in the imagination. And so it is with every desire that stirs within you. It is not pointing you towards something absent. It is revealing what already exists, waiting for your recognition. The great mistake most people make is to chase their desires outwardly. They believe that through effort, competition, or endless striving, they will eventually obtain what they seek. Yet pursuit is a confession. It declares to the world, I do not yet have. The longer you chase, the more firmly you cement the belief that your desire is distant, and as long as it feels distant, it cannot come near. What you run after always runs ahead of you. The more you reach, the further it slips away. But when you turn inward, when you dare to assume that the thing you want is already yours, something remarkable happens. Imagination reshapes your inner world, and the outer world rearranges itself to match that assumption. To imagine the desire fulfilled is to plant the seed of its expression. You may not see its form immediately, but just as the seed buried in the soil contains the promise of the tree, so does your assumption contain the certainty of its manifestation. So it tells us, when we have the system to stand on, this is why imagination is not mere daydreaming, it is the creative act. To envision yourself already successful, already loved, already healed, is to step into the reality that is waiting to express itself. Life is compelled to mirror the state you occupy. If you live in the state of lack, circumstances will affirm lack. If you live in the state of fulfillment, it cannot be otherwise, for the outer is but a reflection of the inner. The key then is not to ask how your desire will come, nor to struggle endlessly in pursuit of it. The key is to accept it now in imagination, to dwell in the feeling that it is already so. This acceptance is not passivity, it is creative rest. It is the quiet knowing that what you have assumed must, by the law of consciousness, become your reality. From that inner rest, inspired action flows naturally, without effort, without strain, as though the world itself conspires to deliver what you already possess within. So the next time you feel the stirring of desire, do not rush outward in search of it. Close your eyes. Enter into the scene that would be true if it were already fulfilled. Feel its reality. Rest there. And as you persist, you will come to see that the desire was never something you had to chase. It was always yours, waiting only to be claimed. In imagination first, before it could appear in the world of facts. Chasing after something you desire may feel natural, but it secretly reinforces the very state you are trying to escape. The act of running toward a goal is a subtle declaration that you are without it. When you chase money, you are admitting to yourself that poverty is your present reality. When you chase love, you are affirming loneliness. When you chase recognition, you are silently confessing that you feel invisible. Every effort to grasp something out there keeps alive the assumption that it is not yet yours, and life faithfully mirrors that inner confession. Those awful truths need standing up. The more intensely you chase, the stronger the sense of lack becomes. It is like running after your own shadow. You can never catch it, because the very act of pursuit keeps it just beyond your reach. Desire, when approached as something separate from you, becomes an endless race. You may achieve moments of temporary satisfaction, but soon another chase begins, and the cycle of lack continues. The outer world cannot give you what you do not first claim inwardly. If you do not feel rich within, money will slip through your fingers. If you do not feel loved within, relationships will leave you empty. This is why chasing is not the path to fulfillment. Chasing belongs to the realm of effort, of striving, of constantly reaching for what is absent. But true manifestation is born not from pursuit, but from possession. Possession begins in imagination, in the silent acceptance that what you desire is already yours. The one who lives in the assumption of wealth does not chase money. Opportunities naturally gravitate toward them. The one who assumes they are loved does not chase affection. They radiate such fullness that love flows effortlessly into their life. The outer is always compelled to match the inner state. When you chase, you are unknowingly clinging to the thought, I don't have. That thought becomes a seed, and from it grows the fruit of continued absence. But when you stop chasing and begin to dwell in the feeling of already having, you break the cycle. Instead of lack, you affirm abundance. Instead of loneliness, you affirm companionship. Instead of invisibility, you affirm recognition. The shift may be silent and invisible at first, but it is powerful, for the inner state is the root of every outer change. Think of a magnet. It does not run after the iron, it draws it effortlessly by being what it is. In the same way, when you embody the state of fulfillment, what belongs to that state comes to you without strain. There is no chasing, no desperate pursuit, only natural attraction. Life responds not to your struggle, but to your state of being. So release the chase. Cease from effort. Instead of reaching outward, turn inward and claim the reality of your desire. Feel it as present, live as though it is already yours, and let the world reflect that truth back to you. Chasing strengthens lack, but assuming fulfillment ends the race and brings what you desire into your experience with ease. Resting in the feeling of already being or having is the secret that ends struggle. Most people live their lives striving, pushing, and forcing, believing that effort alone can bring them closer to their desires. Yet striving is born out of the belief that something is missing, that fulfillment lies somewhere far ahead. The truth is, the very state of striving confirms that you are not there yet. Rest, however, places you in the reality of already having, and it is this rest that transforms the invisible into the visible. When you rest in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you enter the state of possession before the evidence appears. You are no longer fighting against the current of life, no longer exhausting yourself in constant effort. You are seated in the awareness that what you desire is already yours, and this awareness has creative power. It is not passivity, but the highest form of action, in inner alignment with the reality you long for. Striving keeps you on the outside, but rest brings you to the inside, and life must conform to the inner state you occupy. Consider the way a seed grows into a tree. The seed does not strive, worry, or force its growth. It simply rests in the soil, in the quiet knowing of what it is. Hidden beneath the surface, it expands silently, until one day it breaks through into visible expression. So it is with you. When you plant yourself in the feeling of already having what you desire, even if no evidence appears at first, the unseen process is already at work. The outer world will rearrange itself to reveal what you have accepted inwardly. Resting in fulfillment requires trust. It requires letting go of timelines, letting go of the urge to control every detail, and surrendering the need to see immediate results. Striving belongs to impatience, but rest belongs to faith. To rest is to say within yourself, "It is already done. I have received it." From that position of inner completion, your actions become natural extensions of the state you live in, not desperate attempts to achieve it. You no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities flow to you. You no longer beg for recognition. Recognition comes uninvited. You no longer fight for love. Love surrounds you because you are resting in it. The feeling of already being or having is the only true cause of manifestation. If you wish for abundance, rest in the feeling of wealth. If you wish for love, rest in the feeling of being cherished. If you wish for success, rest in the feeling of accomplishment. The more deeply you relax into this state, the more effortlessly life reflects it back to you. So stop striving, stop running, close your eyes, and breathe in the reality of your fulfilled desire. Rest there, linger there, return to it again and again until it feels natural. In that rest, you will discover the miracle. What you once chased tirelessly will appear in your life without struggle, for it was always waiting in the state of being you dared to occupy. Imagination is not idle play, nor is it a meaningless escape from reality. It is the very womb of creation, the source from which all things emerge. Before any invention, discovery, or achievement existed in the outer world, it lived first in the imagination of someone who dared to see beyond the evidence of their senses. The chair you sit on, the building you enter, the music you hear, all were once invisible images in the unseen realm of thought. Imagination is the creative act, and the world you experience is nothing more than its reflection. Most people believe the outer world is the cause and imagination is the effect, but the reverse is true. What you entertain within your mind shapes the circumstances of your life. Your outer world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the inner pictures you hold and the states you dwell in. If you imagine lack, life will present lack. If you imagine abundance, life will reflect abundance. Nothing appears on the screen of your world that did not first exist in the theater of your imagination. To imagine is to choose the seed you plant in the soil of consciousness. Whatever seed you accept and nurture within will in time break forth into expression. You may not see it sprouting immediately, just as a farmer does not see a seed turn into fruit overnight. Yet, the creative act has already been performed the moment you imagined and accepted it as true. From then on, the outer world is compelled to organize itself to match that inner reality. This is why imagination is not to be dismissed as fantasy. Fantasy is idle because it is fleeting and weakly entertained. True imagination is deliberate, vivid, and sustained. When you imagine with feeling, when you step into the scene of your desire and live in it as though it were already fact, you ignite the power that shapes destiny. You shift your state of being, and life must reflect that state back to you, for the outer has no choice but to mirror the inner. Think of a mirror. It does not decide what to reflect. It simply shows what stands before it. The outer world works the same way. It reflects your inner assumptions, beliefs, and imaginings without question. If you dislike the reflection, the solution is not to fight the mirror, but to change the image you project. Change your inner conversation, alter your inner picture, and the mirror of life will display something new. So if you seek transformation, do not labor to rearrange the outer world. That is only shadows and reflections. Go to the root, the imagination. Dare to see yourself as already possessing what you desire. Dare to imagine boldly and persistently. Live inwardly in the reality you long for, and let the outer world rise to meet it. For imagination is the true creative act, and everything you call real is only its reflection. Letting go of effort is not weakness, nor is it passivity. It is the recognition that struggle itself keeps you bound to the very condition you wish to escape. When you are always striving, pushing, and forcing, you are confessing silently that you are not yet what you desire to be. The harder you try, the more you reinforce the gap between yourself and your wish. But the moment you release effort and accept your desired state as your present reality, you step into the power that actually creates change. Effort belongs to doubt. It springs from the hidden belief that what you long for is far away, difficult to obtain, or dependent upon circumstances outside of your control. Acceptance, on the other hand, belongs to faith. It is the quiet confidence that what you have assumed is already true and that the world will inevitably align to reflect it. When you accept your state, you no longer chase it, you embody it. And embodiment is the key to manifestation. Consider the actor who plays a role. He does not struggle to become his character, he accepts it fully. He wears its thoughts, its feelings, its mannerisms as if they were his own. For the time he remains in that state, the audience sees only the character, not the man behind it. In the same way, when you accept your chosen state, when you live in the assumption of already being or having, the world sees that state in you and responds accordingly. You no longer have to force events. You are the role, and life becomes the stage that matches your performance. Effort implies resistance. It is like swimming upstream, exhausting yourself against the current of life. Acceptance is like floating, carried effortlessly by the river in the direction of your desire. The moment you let go of effort, you discover that circumstances begin to arrange themselves without strain. The phone call comes, the opportunity opens, the door you thought was closed suddenly swings wide. These things happen not because you fought for them, but because you accepted them as already true within yourself. Acceptance requires imagination and persistence, not struggle. To accept is to feel that your desire is here now, not tomorrow, not in some distant future. It is to breathe it in as real, to walk as though it were already fact, to speak from it, and to rest in it with ease. When doubt arises, you do not fight it with effort, you simply return to your state and affirm silently, it is done. The world cannot resist such quiet certainty. So let go of effort. Release the tension, the striving, the endless trying. Close your eyes and step into the state you long for as though it were already yours. Accept it, live in it, persist in it. The moment you claim it inwardly as your present reality, life itself bends to reflect it outwardly. What you thought could only be won through struggle reveals itself as already here, awaiting only your acceptance. Reaching is the silent admission that what you seek lies beyond your grasp. It keeps you suspended in a state of longing, always stretching forward but never arriving. The moment you stop reaching, however, a shift takes place. You realize that what you desire is not separate from you. You are not required to chase it down, to beg for it, or to prove yourself worthy of it. You are it. You are already the state you long for. And when you rest in that truth, receiving becomes effortless. Life responds to being, not to yearning. As long as you are yearning, you vibrate with incompletion. You send out the message, I am not yet. And the outer world simply reflects that message back to you with situations and circumstances that affirm your incompleteness. But when you stop reaching, when you cease stretching toward the future and instead inhabit the state of already being, you align with the truth of your desire. In that alignment, the world mirrors your wholeness, not your lack. Think of the child who plays make-believe. She does not reach for the role she imagines, she steps into it. If she declares herself a queen, she carries herself as a queen. She does not wait for a crown to be placed on her head to feel royal. In her being, she already is, and her play transforms the moment. The same principle applies to you. When you embody the feeling of already being the person you wish to become, the world bows to that assumption and brings evidence of it into your experience. Reaching is tension, it is effort, it is rooted in the false belief that fulfillment lies outside of yourself. But receiving is relaxation, it is openness, it is rooted in the recognition that what you are inwardly being must, by law, appear outwardly. You receive not by stretching out your hands towards something distant, but by opening your heart to what you already are. Receiving is not passive, it is powerful, for it rests in certainty, not in struggle. The truth is, you are never incomplete. Every desire that rises within you points to a reality that is already yours in the unseen. You long for love because you are already love. You long for abundance because you are already abundance. You long for freedom because you are already free. The desire is not a signal of absence, it is a reminder of presence. By reaching, you push it away. By stopping, you allow it to surface. So stop reaching. Stop looking ahead for some distant moment when everything will finally be as you want it. Rest instead in the awareness that you already are. Let the feeling of completion, of fulfillment, of wholeness settle upon you now. As you dwell in that state, life itself will rise to meet you. The things you once stretched toward will flow into your experience with ease, for they were never outside of you. They were always within, waiting for you to stop reaching and to finally receive. The truth is simple. What you seek is already yours. Stop striving, stop chasing, stop reaching outward. Rest in the inner knowing that imagination is the creative act and that every desire fulfilled exists in you now. The world is only a mirror, faithfully reflecting the state you occupy. When you let go of effort and accept your wish as present reality, life has no choice but to reveal it. So live from the end. Walk as though it is already done. Rest in the feeling of completion, and you will see how effortlessly life bends to your assumption. The moment you stop trying to get it, you will find you already have it. Thank you, my friends, for opening your hearts and minds tonight. May you leave here no longer seekers, but possessors, living boldly in the certainty of already being all that you desire to be.